Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about chapter 17, and this chapter is titled Please Don't Use the Video. It's the case of the fatal accident. Chapter 17 talks about the struggles that journalists face when it comes to death. When a fatal accident was shown in the courtroom, journalists had to determine on whether or not they wanted to use the video for their story and air it, or whether or not they wanted to respect the wishes of the grieving family and not show the video at all. So the situation that occurred was on December 29th, 2017, a young 19-year-old girl named Valerie was sitting at a red light when she was fatally struck from behind by an SUV driven by Staff Sergeant Edison Baez. I apologize if I pronounced that name incorrectly. But she died later that day. A newly graduated reporter, named Raymond Hira, was covering the trial. They found out that there would be a red light camera video that was going to be shown during the trial as evidence for the case. The journalists were all working on a pool under a pool calls, I guess, kind of. And basically what that was sorry, I didn't mean to say was twice, but basically what that was is one camera was going to record the video and was allowed to be in the courtroom, and all four of the news stations were going to get that one video. Other cameras were not allowed to be in the courtroom while the video was being taken, and videos and pictures were also not allowed to be taken while the video was being shown at all. But the judge did allow for, reporters to stand outside the windows and take pictures and videos. So that was really how a lot of the recordings were getting seen. And after, they saw the video, the story talked about how Raymond definitely, was taken back by it, I guess. You could tell that he felt some type of way after viewing the video. And after the video was shown, the trial went to lunch, and that was when the victim's father approached the reporters and asked if they could not show the video. He asked if they could not, post the video on, on the news stations, on the TV channels and things like that, because he knew how it was going to emotionally affect the family. He didn't want his daughter's death to be constantly shown over and over again for the world to see. And I really took to that. One of the things that he said was, I'm sorry, I wrote it down, but one of the things he said was, put yourself in my shoes. And that's something that I feel like people don't really do very often. Especially in these type of situations, I feel like with journalists, a lot of times they don't really think about the repercussions of them, airing certain information or putting out certain information. Like, you don't know how that can emotionally traumatize somebody, especially the victim's family. Like, her mother and her father had to sit there and watch their child's last moments on earth. Like, that's tough for anybody. But back to the story. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kind of get off on that little tangent, but back onto the story. After the father's request, the reporters all went back to, their respective news stations, and the executive producer, the news director, and, the reporters basically had to sit down and watch the video, and they had to determine whether or not the video was bad enough, for people to see. And even though they felt that, it was kind of shocking, they felt like it wasn't anything that was, too graphic for them to allow their viewers to see. They felt like by not showing the video, they wouldn't be able to portray the true essence of the story. And I know that kind of sounds bad, but I understand why they did that. I understand, wanting to make sure that all of the evidence and all of the key factors of the situation get out there to viewers. I feel like by showing the video, even though it was a very messed up situation, it was a very bad situation, and it's something that you wouldn't wish on anybody, I feel like it does raise awareness, and I feel like it will allow other people to see the negative effects of the decisions that of the decisions that you make, especially drunk driving. There have been countless deaths in America alone of people who have died simply to drunk drivers. And I feel like it's something that is not taken as seriously as it should be. So I do feel like by showing the video, even with it being a little graphic, I do believe that, it'll kind of open people's eyes up, and it'll maybe make people think twice before, getting behind the wheel after drinking. So I feel like even though it was a negative situation, some good can still come from it. That's the silver lining in the situation, I guess. Something good can still come from the negative situation. But after, after they decided to air the video that night on their news channel, they constantly continue to use that video. So anytime, new evidence was brought up about the story or about the case, they would always reuse that video. And I feel like, Raymond felt a little less guilty about his decision after going back to the trial, and the father not having any ill feelings towards him, and still being able to speak to him and still being able to see him. I feel like that kind of made him feel a little bit better. I feel like, all of the other reporters also making the decision to post or to use that video made him feel a little bit better, because like the executive director and the executive producer and the director said, I understand. They understood the severity that it could cause to the family, but at the same time, like they said, it was something that needed to be done. It was something that people needed to see in order to raise awareness. It was that shock value, and I know that kind of sounds bad, but sometimes that's what needs to be had in order for people to really get that that wake up call, for that light bulb to go off a little bit. And like they said, if they didn't like it, they could just not watch the news that day. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but it's the truth. You can't really always cover up and, protect, I guess, and shield people from the things of the world, because it's out there. And had they not posted the video, somebody else was going to post the video. Another news station was going to post the video. So regardless of the situation, the video was going to get out there. There was no stopping that. So the fact that they did post a video and they were able to use it in the way that they did, I feel like that did make Raymond feel a little bit better. I really enjoyed this chapter more than others, I guess you could say. I like this story. It's definitely, dealing with death. That's a very slippery slope, I feel like. So to have to, assess both sides of the situation and just really, like they said, put yourself in other people's shoes and just think about everything that could come from the situation. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed reading this story. It was really sad, and it sucks that somebody had to die, but I do still feel like there was a good lesson that needed to be had, and a good lesson that needed to be learned from it. So this is the chapter that we did this week. I'm excited to do next week's chapter and get back to you guys on the review. So I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a great day.